Well, guys, I think I'm going to call it a night here. It's about 7 o'clock at night. I cannot get this flywheel to come off of here. I've tried about everything. I've had a puller on it and wedged it at the same time, and I just heated it up with a torch about as much as I dare. I'm wondering if it's the keyway broke and it's spun. I can't tell that. I mean, I could do everything but take that, the stator, and the rear tire. Oh no, I can't press that out either because I have to get the cover off to get the snap ring off. So I can't use the press on that. Son of a... I don't know, guys. I mean, I'm trying here, but it's fighting. The other two come right off. Of course, the one... Well, I don't really care about this crank or flywheel, but I'm still trying not to break stuff. I've just been having trouble with this. It just won't come apart real easy. The other thing I noticed is apparently when I put this thing back together, or maybe it wasn't even me, this valve cover is actually 180 off, and you can see the slight little hole there. I guess it's not even tight. Is that the problem? If I spin it around, does it work? It must go that way. Okay. So at least one little thing fixed. Now I'll adjust the valves and stuff in this before I put the intake manifold and the exhaust manifold back on. It's all held on by one bolt, and luckily they all came out. So all 6 bolts on all 3 motors. So that's a plus. I still got a couple bolts in the front here, wouldn't come loose with the electric impact, but I didn't try it manually. So, like I said, I think I'm just going to call it there for a night. And if I feel like it tomorrow, I'll come back out and hit it in the morning. If I don't, it'll be another day. So, today's going to be it for Monday Night Fun anyhow. Later, guys. Hurt my back picking that one up. Whew. Ended up using the jack, sitting it up there and just sliding it onto the bucket. So, gonna be sore later, that's for sure. At least this one's got an oil pressure sensor on it already. Wonder if it works. So, I left my big gear puller wound up on the flywheel overnight, and it's still on there. I have my steering wheel puller and bolts in it wound up as tight as I can get it. And I have the torch on there on a flywheel, letting her warm up a little bit. I'm hoping it'll pop loose. I've already hit it with the hammer a couple times and nothing. So yeah. Figured I'd get the camera out if it does something, at least catch it on camera maybe. Just kind of standing here staring doom in the face. I think it moved. I think it moved there, didn't it? Well, one way to find out. Where's my impact? Something happened. Look at that, all you needed. Now I need my other hand to hold this. Hold on. Smart guy would have put you guys on the tripod. Wait a second here. I don't have my safety shoes on this morning either, so don't laugh too hard. Got it. The flywheel's pretty good, I'll tell you that. Nice. So that's what was holding me up last night. You guys were probably looking at the string for the camera. Yeah, just a little bit. Not too bad. So anyhow, got it all off of here. This has the original voltage regulator on it yet. I know people ask all the time about this. Let's see, what wires come out of the stator? The two tan ones, I think. The one with the ring terminal. The ring terminal went to the coil. So that would have been power to the coil, right? And the other black wire would have been power to the voltage regulator with the fuse in it there, is what I'm thinking. And obviously this brown wire is just the low oil pressure light. It would have been on the dash like an 817. So, okay, we can proceed forward here later. I don't know if I'm going to do it right now, but just want to come out and see if that flywheel fell off. And the answer to the question is no. Nope. Had to do some work. We got it. So I've got this thing down to the block, at least to the point where I'm going to start taking the timing chain cover off and the oil pan and the cylinder heads and stuff. You can see a lot of this has been painted this dark red. Example, flywheel, starter. But other things like the governor rod, points box, and like half of the oil pan is still orange, along with the engine adapter plate. I'm moving my light now, so it's a little bit darker in there. Because there's the serial number on the engine adapter plate, if it'll focus on it. Pretty sure it's a 24046A. There you go. I'll have to look up and see what year that is, and I'll stick that in right. As soon as the camera focuses, I'll stick it in right here. We'll know what year tractor this come off of, but I'm gonna bet an early 816 because they weren't on the engine adapter plate too long before they put the sticker on the dash. I want to say 76 sticker was on the dash. I could be wrong, but my 74 812, it's still on the engine adapter plate. So I don't know when they stopped exactly, but anyhow, hopefully be a good motor. I see was definitely leaking oil back here around the timing chain cover, or timing chain, yeah, timing gear cover. And the front here looks pretty good. Somebody had this off, so I know this motor has been apart because there's the copper like NICs on it, on the shaft. I don't know why they did that, but whatever. And it looks like there's probably oil. The nice thing is the seal is still wet anyhow, because I don't know if you guys remember, I had this thing running for a little while years ago when I put it together. So okay, I'll continue with the teardown and bring you guys back. Hopefully I won't find any surprises. What my plan is, and I'm sure I have said this, but I may be in a different video at this point, who knows. I need to use this block. This is the only potential good block I have left. And then basically put the 450 crank in. It looks kind of crappy sitting there on the bench, but excuse me. It's got like dew on it, and the oil kind of mixes, so I got to clean everything off before I put it back in. But anyhow, put the crank in. Use the crank gear that come off of it, which is, I put it on there because I don't know what I did with that one. It's around somewhere, just a matter of finding it. And I'll use the bearing enclosure plate off the same motor, because that way the bearings stay with the crank. So I might take do I want to knock the bearing out of the 450 block and put in this? It's possible, because I have no idea if this has under or oversized or undersized main bearings in it. You know, I just don't know. At least not at this point yet, anyhow. So purely speculating. But we'll get her tore apart. Maybe I'll record the putting together, just because if something happens, I'll know why. And yeah, I'm gonna take this big pile of crap. And owning CCKA parts here, whole way over in here on the floor. The whole bench is stacked full of stuff. Tore 3 motors. I really hope that first one would be good. If I wouldn't have tore that first one down, I'd only have a third of the mess. So, okay, rambling. Nothing constructive said. Later, guys. Alrighty, guys. So I got the block for the 450 tore down here, and while there is just a smidge of pitting, it is so much better than the other block. The other block is way worse. That is the only concerning thing I see right there, and I'm not 100% sure. It actually feels smooth. It almost like the piston's not riding right or something there, but the pistons look good. You know, they look like pistons that have been ran. This side over here is 100 times better. It's got some dirty oil floating around in it, but everything looks okay. Same thing, the crank looks pretty decent. All the crank bearings look okay. And this motor here hadn't been ran in, I don't know how many years. I don't have a rag handy to wipe it off, but there's no super scoring. Basically, I'm looking for signs that there's a bunch of metal or material going around through this motor, and it could be in the oil passages. But it looks nice and clean. The cam up in there looks nice and clean. Yeah, I mean, this block looks nice and clean. So what I'm gonna do, I'm not gonna put the pistons in today. I'm gonna get this the whole way apart. I'm gonna take order of what gaskets I have, what I don't have, and what I can get away without having. The main stuff is going to be things that I would have to take the motor back off the tractor to reseal, like this bearing enclosure plate, which I can't remember if I used that gasket on the 818 a couple years ago. I might have, I don't remember. Or did I order a separate one? I just have to look because I don't remember. But basically, ready to take the crank out of the block, and since I'm going to be reusing this block, I'm going to spend some time cleaning up the old gaskets off the surfaces and getting ready to put new ones on and all that sort of nonsense. But everything looks good. I don't know. I was kind of looking at the pistons, but I don't see a marking. Oh, hey, real obvious there. Can you guys see it? They're standard. There you go. Standard pistons. Haha, check that out. That's odd. So, this motor was standard. Where's the block at? Where's the block? The blocks are over here. Let's go over here for a second. The actual 450 motor was 10 over. And the first one I tore apart was 30 over. All I'm missing is a set of 20 over pistons. So go figure that out. Who knows, maybe the 817 has a set in it. But yeah. So, like I said, I'm gonna tear this the whole way apart. I haven't decided. I'm gonna go over to work one day. Basically whatever day I go over there, or if I run to Indiana the other direction. And I forgot all about this while I was out the other day, and buy a cylinder hound. Another one. And I've heard, I don't know, some people can say, you know, you can say whatever you want to, but a lot of people have said if you're not putting new rings in, don't hone it. But I'd much rather knock all the crap out of there and get it off so the rings don't have to wear it off, and the rings can seat back into them. And what's the worst thing that happens? It smokes. If it smokes, what does that mean? Well, the only thing I screwed with was that, and that means I'll have to buy new rings and put in it. And I know what size pistons it has now, so it could be easier. Like I said, just trying to do this as cheap as possible. Because I really love using this 450. I really do. If the motor didn't have that squeal to it, it would probably be like my 818 and be one of my favorite tractors. So that's basically what I'm trying to do. Trying to build tractors I can use, and once I get those done, I'll move back into fixing up some of my clunkers I don't need per se, much like the Navy L. So just trying to get things moving. We're sitting because I had some issues. So I'll see you guys in the next segment. 3, 2. Alrighty guys, so here we go, last and final one. This is the only one the block has to survive. And this is actually the best block out of all of them. The cylinders aren't real messed up. They got a really, really light bit of pitting. I think will be okay. It's only in one spot. And I'm going to take a hone and run through them, but I know Ralph's been lighting me up on Facebook for doing it this way, but I hate to say it, guys, but it's the only way I got. I don't have any other way to do this. I was just thinking about something I didn't look and when I crank up, I think it'll work here. Only one way to find out. That one there was a little bit tighter than I would have liked, but she's going, so. Again, we are mission complete, guys. So, yeah, the reason on the last one it ended up being flipped around is because that's just the way I have it set in the press. I don't really think that part through. Let's see if I can. Flip the motor up. I can set it like that. You guys can see me remove the crank. Very nice, gentlemen. So that would be disassembly complete, unless I change the crankshaft bearings like I was thinking about doing, but I don't know. Nice thing is all the other work I can do on the bench. So I'm going to toss this back up on the bench. I'll throw the crank up in there and just see what everything feels like. And we'll go from there. Because I'm pretty certain this motor has never been apart. Just because it's still standard pistons and everything. So, okay, that's it for me, guys.